I should start with words. As a lot of people may have discovered, we've been lied to about everything. And words are important. The words we use are important. And a good thing to have is a Black's Law Dictionary. It's about this thick.
They dumb us down to the legal system, using words to do but with different definitions. Terminology, they keep us all up in our prison, caught up in the act of forcing the antagonism. Statutory law is only applicable to persons. What is a person? I'ma tell you if you're uncertain. A person is identity created at birth, a corporate fiction of referring to the humans on earth.
Your person, I know I'm probably losing you here, but your person is your ID. Your ID is a person that came from your birth certificate. If you read the law, it's only applicable to persons and not human beings. If you look in the law dictionary, a human being and a person is two totally different things. They've enslaved us by our vocabulary. More will. It's all on there. I just wanted to stretch it. Basically, your ID, right? You carry ID on you? I never carry ID on me. Because if you read the law, Canadian law, there's about like 10,000 new laws every year that all they do is just think of ways to take money from us. If you read that, it's only applicable to persons. If you look in the Canadian Law Dictionary and you look up the definition of person and you look up the definition of human, they're two totally different things. A person is defined as a corporate fiction. Okay, it's created from your birth certificate. It's a name with all capital letters. That's not you, man. That's a corporation that was made so that these statutes can become applicable to you. Statutes mean the law, right? So if you read Canadian law, it's only applicable to persons.
Because it's going to go to the vote.
That's the thing. That's why we have to be sovereigns and break free, get a republic, and also we need our own system of governance. How many, man, I heard there's like 6 million statutes and acts. That's 6 million Canadian laws. Like, I guarantee the people in Parliament don't even know half of them. But yet they're still being enforced.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and take a look at the election. You know, the election laws, they were putting it out. Everybody, you know, don't Twitter the results from your area until 10 p.m., blah, blah, blah. Well, part of that law says that, like Harper and all that, they can't do their campaigning on election day.
Why?
He was on because it's part of the law.
Oh, and he was campaigning on
campaigned on a radio show on election day, so he broke the law. But
so it seems like these leaders of a commercial company known as the House of Commons keep breaking their own rules.
And nothing ever happened.
And nothing ever happened.
That's why a republic is so important. It is based on the rule of law.
And there's a difference between legal and lawful.
Exactly.
And the legal system is what enslaves us because we consent to it. For instance, it's illegal for us to park at that parking meter, not pay for it, but it's not unlawful for me to do that, right?
Exactly.
So we need to break free from this legal system. There's good things that come with the legal system, but I'm honestly saying there's way more bad things that come with the legal system.
Well, I think it would take a real fool to say that we don't need a legal system and we don't need police, because obviously we do. We need to have that system in place, but not an overbearing one where there's 6 million statutes, where you can go to a cop and say, oh, have you ever heard of this? No.
Well, most of those statutes are actually fines.
Yep.
You know, they're actually ways that are perpetuated by privatized banks to gain back the interest they put on public debt. So they got to find ways to do that, you know, through fines, and all that goes to private banks.
Well, the way it whole works is, right, they get the money from the fines. It doesn't go to the government, it goes straight to the banks. The banks then loan it back to the government with the interest on top.
Yeah.
It's pure
It's
money.
a non-stop cycle of monster debt.
Are you happy with the parliamentary monarchy that we're a part of right now?
I am totally not happy with it at all. I think we need to break free from the crown. We have to break free from the Queen. Canada needs to be its own country. We need our own government and not a commercial company running our country, because the current government right now is set up to think of ways to take money from you and to have you in continual debt. Walmart is a corporation and they set policies, right? And only employees of Walmart have to follow those policies, correct? Well, you have to take that. So if some guy who worked at Walmart came up to you with one of Walmart policies says, you're not allowed to wear sandals, you'd laugh at him. You'd be like, I'm not in Walmart. You have to take that same ideology that what the House of Commons is doing. The House of Commons is a commercial company that's trying to enforce their policies on you. Just in case if any peace officers or policy enforcers come today, we're deciding that we're going to give that to them. It's important notice. It says, to all human beings acting as peace officers and or policy enforcers, no man-made law can abrogate a fundamental human right. Here's the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, important sections highlighted. You are bound by the legal system, and even in the legal system, human beings acting as persons have constitutional rights. You are bound by the Constitution Act of 1982, and you have to protect human rights and not infringe them listed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, hereby known as the CCRF. Infringing upon human rights may result in said peoples whose rights have been infringed to seek remedy through court of competent jurisdiction pursuant to CCRF Section 24, subsection 1. Have you ever had fined by a cop?
Yeah.
Tickets?
Yep.
Well, this right here, Secrets About Law, if you open that folder, there's books in there how to discharge tickets with filing notices through public notary, and it's discharged. Doesn't matter, $5,000, $50 discharged by filing notice. Would you like to get that type of info? Stuff they don't want you to know.
Are you giving this to me?
I am giving it to you. I'm a truth activist.
Cool.
Truth is stranger than fiction. People call me crazy because I tell it. I produce power like the friction. Truth is always free, must never sell it. Think you get a free DVD?
Wow, how'd you remember all that?
I'm a poet. What's up, buddy? Yo, you ever pay fines, man?
Fuck yeah, for jaywalking.
Hey,
For jaywalking?
okay, check this out, bro. I'm a truth activist, okay? I've discharged tickets here by filing notices. You don't have to pay fines. Fines go to private banks, bro. Would you want free info on how to discharge tickets with notices? Fuck yeah, man. Cool.
How do you do this?
Okay, you want to listen?
Yeah.
All right. Basically, right, I'm going to define what a bill is. Okay, a bill of exchange is a sum of order in writing telling somebody else to pay something. According to the Bills of Exchange Act, Section 16, subsection 1. Bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing addressed to one person to another, signed by a person, requiring that person to pay a sum of money. Now, I just defined what a bill is, right? So you go to a restaurant and you order something to eat. They give you a bill, which is addressed to you saying that you owe a sum of money, right? Well, didn't I just define what a ticket is? When they give you a fine, they're telling you to pay a sum of money, right? Well, what they don't let you know is there's this thing called the Bills of Exchange Act, and it regulates the rules when it comes to giving bills. Now, if I go to a restaurant and I order something, they're gonna give me a bill of exchange. If you look at fines, that's what it is. They're giving you a bill, and they're telling you to pay something. There's three options on the back, right? You can pay it, you can fight it, or if you ignore it, they say that you're gonna be charged anyway. If you ignore it, you go into dishonor, you're legally liable right away. If you pay, you gave in. But there's a fourth option they don't tell you about. You can accept it with conditions attached. Right? When you get a fucking ticket, you can dispute it, you can ignore it, or you can pay it, right? What they don't tell you is that you can accept it with conditions attached to it, right? So it's like if you go to a restaurant and you eat, it's like you owe us 20 bucks. You can say by the Bills of Exchange Act, according to the Bills of Exchange Act, you say, okay, I agreed to pay that bill, but first prove that I ate turkey. So you can do the same thing with the tickets, right here. Section 36, Section 47, subsection 1, subsection A. Conditional, that is to say, that makes payment by the acceptor dependent on the employment of a condition. So you pretty much say this to the court. I agree to to give you this money, but first prove that I am a person and not a human being. They can't prove it. Then you send another notice and you say, hey man, oh, but in that notice you have to say you have 10 days to respond. Or my ticket is discharged. 10 days goes by, they don't respond. You send them another notice. Hey, this is a notice saying that it's understood that my ticket is discharged because you didn't reply to this other notice. More info on the disc.
Alright, buddy. Remember me?
Yeah, dude. How's it going?
Good. I seen your video on the internet. I seen one of your videos on the internet, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I know.
What? Which one?
As soon as I seen your face, I'm like, no fucking way.
What happened? Pay fines, man? Want to learn how to discharge them with notices?
I don't
Okay. I give you that for free. Just put it in your computer. Secrets about law. You read? Yeah, there's stuff. Trust me, you'll read. You'll be like, man, I'm so glad this guy gave it to me. Hey, you a lawyer? Hey.
I am, but I don't.
Hey, are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you know about?
Hey, you want a disc on the truth about?
the fines? Where do they go? Where do they go?
Hey, you want a disc on the truth about?
Where do the fines go? Where does the money for the fines go?
I'm not getting into that.
Hey, there's a resistance going on in the streets, eh? We know how to accept tickets for value, pursuant to the Bills of Exchange Act.
Okay, good luck to that.
You ever got fined by the cops, like for driving or anything? Next time you get a fine, follow the instructions and secrets about law on how to discharge it by filing notices to the public.
Yeah, this is going on sidewalk, right?
And there's public that's going into this building that would not want to be. We're not taking
Or if they say
We're not taking, we respect anybody.
You can just go in and take it better for everyone, okay?
But are we required to? Like
But
by
it's not
law?
safe here.
It's what's the unsafe condition?
What are you doing?
We're just standing here exercising my right of freedom of assembly.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got this notice for any peace officers that wish to interact with us. Are you willing to accept the written notice?
No.
Why not?
Why would I?
I'm just being peaceful, giving you a notice.
We're not doing anything wrong.
And it's not a bad notice.
Okay, you should not be taking pictures of people that are coming into.
We're not taking pictures.
We're not, we're over here.
I took pictures of you. That's all.
This explains what we're doing here. That's
It's a
all.
public sidewalk, and as far as my understanding, we're allowed to film until somebody asks us not to film
I'm
that.
asking about the people that are coming into the.
We're not gonna film them. We're here handing out discs. Did you get that?
Well,
Denied the notice. They obviously don't care. All you have to do is don't carry ID, man, and Canadian law is not applicable to you. Do you have you ever paid fines?
Yeah, but I work here.
Oh yeah? Have you heard accepted for value? You've been getting them, I know.
Divine creature of the land, I'm a free will man. Free will man, I'm a divine creature of the land, I'm a free will man. Free will man, I'm a divine creature of the land, I'm a free will man. Free will man, I'm a
showing how these private banks are controlling our government and issuing the money rather than our government.
Bank of Canada, slating the country as a whole nation, increasing the interest, decrease the dollar by inflation.
The second one is about more political things that are going on here, and this is about a law that was just passed. It undermines the rule of law. We're just average Hamiltonians, sick and tired of it all.
That's why you called.
Students or anything?
No.
Just belong to an organization?
No, we post our stuff on a website called CanadianAwareness.org. Just trying to let people know.
People who are called to try to be aware of what's going on?
Yeah, well, you know, we're heading to globalization, loss of our sovereignty, and it's at the hands of banks like this that are really behind it all.
You telling me? I know.